As the economic situation in the country bites harder, the federal government has said that hopes are high that the fourth quarter of 2016 will be better, as there are indications that the non-oil sector will pick up very soon. Speaking to State House Correspondent after Wednesday Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma said, though the recent number which were released on Monday by the Bureau of Statistics is not too encouraging, but there are hopes for a better tomorrow.
As you know, the economy, from those numbers, the economy is still in recession. The performance is, the third quarter was slightly worse than the second quarter. And this was attributable to the performance of the oil sector, which performed worse in the third quarter than the second quarter. And that was for reasons you all know, that oil production averaged about 1.63 in the third quarter. However, the good news is that the non-oil sector is improving. Indeed, we are encouraged by the direction that the non-oil sector is moving. With regards to the oil sector, we believe that the fourth quarter will be much better than the third quarter, even for the oil sector, because as you know, oil production has started moving up.
The Federal Executive Council also approved purchase of 40 pickup vehicles to be added to the Federal Road Safety Commission's fleet, with another 27 Peugeot 301 cars to strengthen the capacity of the Federal Road Safety Corps in manning roads in the country.
The Federal Safety Corps, as you know, is mandated by the Act setting it up to maintain safety on our federal highways. And in doing so, we need to give them the tools with which they can perform this function. Part of the tools are vehicles for them to assess scenes of road traffic accidents, or even patrol the roads for the maintenance of speed limits, and to ensure that passengers adhere to the regulations on seat belts.
Also speaking on the strike action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU and the agitations, Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngige said that most of the needs of the academic union have been met, apart from the 284 billion naira end allowances that government have agreed to pay in installments.
But we've made headway. ASU has some demands, about 8 of them. 7 of them have been trashed out. The major ones that will be of interest to you is that the government conceded to them the rights to exclude endowment funds that accrue to the universities from the single treasury account. The other aspect of it is the end allowances. The end allowances is the only one that is not sorted out now, because everybody know and agree that we're in a recession. We're in a recession, and if we're in a recession and you're asking us to pay you 284 billion, nobody will pay it, because the money is not there. So they agreed, and the National Assembly also agreed, and something was worked out, and government offered them some amount pending when we finish auditing of the first tranche of money that have been given to them in that same area of end allowances. That tranche of money they collected is being audited, but the auditing process is very slow, because some people, for strange reasons, are not allowing auditing to take place. So a time frame has been fixed, 6 months, within which the auditing will be done. Within those 6 months, government have offered something that they will be paying on a monthly basis.
From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefife for Ben Television.
As the economic recession hits harder on the manufacturing sector, the federal government said it's taking some measures to support the sector with tax relief. Finance Minister Kemi Adeosun revealed this in Abuja while responding to questions from journalists at the end of the monthly Federation Account Allocation Committee meeting. Data released by the National Bureau of Statistics in August showed that the economy slipped into recession following a second consecutive contraction in Q2 2016. Domestic output contracted in the quarter by 2.06%. The latest release in November by the Bureau shows that real income actually worsens in Q3, as output contracted further by 2.24% relative to its level in the previous and corresponding quarter of 2015. Non-oil sector grew by 0.03%, driven by agriculture, which grew by 4.54%, following the 0.38% contraction in Q2 2016. But the minister said the tax relief was part of measures by the federal government to reduce the negative impact of the foreign exchange crisis on the sector, and massive investment in infrastructure will be made to reduce the operating cost of the manufacturing sector.
If you look very closely at the figure, there was growth in agriculture and solid minerals, which is very encouraging because we had said these were two of the sectors that we wanted to focus on. They're two of the sectors that we have invested in. Of course, there is a lag between investing and or policy and result, but we are beginning to see signs of improvement in our non-oil revenues, which is very encouraging. And remember, one of the objectives of this administration was to really reduce our dependency on oil by getting other sectors of the economy moving. It's clear from the figures that the manufacturing sector is the one that really is very challenged, and the numbers around that show that. And what are the challenges in manufacturing? Clearly, forex availability is a major issue. And I think that sector will benefit from more consistency of foreign exchange policy. I think that is clearly a factor. On the fiscal side, we are rolling out a number of measures that will support the manufacturing sector in terms of tax relief and other measures that will allow the balance sheets of the manufacturers to be repaired. They've taken quite a hit, and we will continue to try and support them through it. But I think the big challenge for manufacturers is forex and high interest rates.
Meanwhile, the sum of 420 billion naira was distributed among the federal, states and local government as revenue for the month of October. The allocation showed no difference from the preceding month, but a drop of 45.12 billion naira in the total net statutory allocation. The amount distributed comprised the statutory revenue of 238.71 billion naira and 6.3 billion naira refunded by NNPC, being the corporation's indebtedness to the Federation. The minister who gave the breakdown said the gross statutory revenue of 238.71 billion naira received for the month was lower than the 279.47 billion naira received in the previous month by 41.03 billion naira.
Summary is as follows. Statutory gross allocation 203,952. VAT gross 69.621. Total distributable for the month 273,573. We had an exchange gain of 37.319 and an additional distribution of excess PPT of 109,108, and that gives a grand total of exactly 420 billion, which is exactly the same figure as last month. And the NNPC refund to the federal government 6.330 billion. I think the only thing to add is the explanation of the decrease in revenue is that this is August's production, and August was one of the months that we had very challenging situations in the Niger Delta with 950,000 barrels per day shut in, and we're feeling the impact of that on our revenues. So this was August production, which was one of the more challenging months. Of course, the situation in the Niger Delta continues to affect us, but we are working very hard to resolve it and are confident that we'll get our production volumes back up as quickly as possible.
The excess crude account now stands at $2.456 billion. Awesome raffle, Ben Television.
been over
12 hours. Are you done thinking about it?
Is the answer yes?
Convince me.
I know how much
Confident style mean to you. Let me take you somewhere.
What's that?
A superior leading international hospitality chain in the heart of Africa.
And?
They offer very distinct services. Their meeting halls and all their hotels offer conference solutions that can help plan a perfect function for any occasion. They feature outdoor catering and provide services for any size event.
Keep going. You got me thinking now.
The beauty, the decor, and the views. It's the hotel experience you always dreamed of. They have up-to-date entertainment and a variety served at the fast food restaurant and snack bar. Oh, and don't even get me started on the garden bar or the nightclub. You would have everything you need within your reach without having to go out.
Wow. So what if I want to...
Cook? They got you, babe. The rooms are thoughtfully furnished with facilities that aid proper cooking, just like you would at home.
Where is this place?
And it's sweets.
Wow.
So, will you marry me?
Yes. How can I refuse?
Not at Sweets, a colorful affair.
Nigerian women have been asked to increase their participation in politics and governance as a means of having more women in political offices. Former Governor of Anambra State, Chukwuemeka Ezeife, at the National Women's Summit in Abuja, said women participation in politics will help reduce the high rate of corruption in the country's politics, which he maintained that the majority of men in it are corrupt.
We must remake Nigeria. The focus on cutting the contents of Nigerian treasury to foreign banks must now stop. All aspects of corruption, which saturate every bit of social structure, from church to school, military to police, primary school to university, etc., must now end.
Ezeife, while accusing some political elites of looting the country's treasury to foreign banks, called on the women to rise and clean up Nigerian politics for good of their children, born and unborn.
Arise, mothers, and say no to monumental corruption. Say no to any corruption at all. Say no to money politics. All agents and promoters of corruption, including political parties, must go. Away with the PDP, APC, APOGA, all the others, as long as they are agents of corruption. Anybody who enters politics, including repentant old politicians, must now take the oath of service to the people, not service to me.
The gathering, which brought women from different fields, have the theme Nigerian Mother Charter for National Peace and Women Electoral Empowerment. From Abuja, LM Chukwuemeka reports.